Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to Celeb Sauce. It's the backup channel backing Celeb up and bringing you all the breaking news. Check this out. As you know, Azealia Banks always got something to say about somebody, and this time she's decided to talk about Beyoncé. The other day, a fan jumped in Azealia Banks' comment section and asked her what she thought about Beyoncé's Renaissance tour, and Azealia Banks responded by saying, quote, "I stayed home. I decided I didn't want to see Giselle and Blue Ivy's cabaret. I wasn't leaving the comfort of my mansion to hear her sing Mary J. Blige covers and literally watch the same show that I could watch on Instagram. In a big way, I kinda got over her that night. For a woman who's done so much nasty stuff behind the scenes to stifle other black female artists, yet still is too afraid to come at Adele for keying on her little lemonade stunt and tearing a Grammy in half while she's in the front row pregnant, laughing my A off. Pfft, literally, she begs people like Dixie Chick, Shakira, and Adele for collabs, but doesn't pay the legion of black women who pen her songs. And I had a second thought about how tasteless it was for her to have legendary Kevin Jay-Z prodigy sweating her wig out and performing from the pit. No, Giselle, you thought you went hard, you need to go harder. End quote. Well, after dropping that first post, Azealia Banks came back and dropped a second post that was also directed towards Beyoncé. Azealia Banks said, quote, "How dare she have Kevin Jay-Z prodigy performing from the pit, but always kowtowing the white women who probably aren't even racist, they just smell the thirst and the fakeness, laughing my A off. LOL, sis tried to sell us workout clothes and never once did we see her working out. B-Day is an integral part of who I am as an artist, and I really don't want to ruin that precious piece of nostalgia watching her gay bait and do Lil Uzi Vert TikTok choreo. It's whack. Just give all the songs to Chloe Bailey and stop trying to make Blue Ivy happen, because Chloe obviously makes you jealous, laughing my A off." End quote. You know what? The person who's coming off as jealous in this situation is Azealia Banks, because when the fan asked her what she thought about the Renaissance tour, all she had to say was, "I didn't go, it's not my cup of tea," and keep it moving. But no, she had to go on a 3-paragraph rant on how much she doesn't like Beyoncé and everything that Beyoncé is doing wrong. And what's crazy is that she's on here talking about Beyoncé is nasty when she's like one of the nastiest people on the internet. And I mean, for real, what kind of person wakes up every day with something negative to say about somebody else? I mean, Azealia Banks is freaking miserable. And the saddest thing is that Azealia Banks is actually a talented chick, but she's so busy out here trolling and trying to disrespect and diss everybody else that she's not in the studio making hits. Now, check this. This week, Pusha T has been targeted by bots, which have posted some very disturbing things about the rapper on the internet. For example, one post said, quote, "Pusha T shaves DJ Vlad's toe fungus." End quote. And then another post said, quote, "Pusha T begged QC to sign him, but they said no because he talks to minors." End quote. Well, it didn't take long for Pusha T's fans to speculate that Drake was behind the cyber attack. For example, one of Pusha's fans said, quote, "Drake has to go down as one of the worst rappers if he has bots trying to diss Pusha T for him." End quote. And then another person said, quote, "The Pusha T bots are weird, Drake. It's not even funny." End quote. Look, as of April 2023, there were 5.18 billion internet users worldwide, which amounts to 64.6% of the global population. Now, out of this total, 4.8 billion, or like 59.9% of the world's population, was social media users. So, here's my question. Out of the 4.8 billion people in the world that are like using the internet, how in the world do you automatically assume that Drake is behind the bots? I mean, for all you know, them bots could have been generated by some 14-year-old kid who's sitting behind a gaming computer like somewhere in like Pakistan or like Lithuania. I mean, how in the world do you automatically assume that it's Drake? I don't know, fam. What do you think? Do you think that it's Drake over there trolling Pusha T with the bots? Or do you think Drake's on tour right now? He ain't got no time to be thinking about no Pusha T. Get out of here with that nonsense. Now, check this next story out. A 16-year-old girl named Shania Muhammad has become America's youngest full-time salaried teacher. After obtaining 3 degrees from college, Shania has now been hired to teach 3rd grade students at a school in her hometown of Oklahoma City in Oklahoma. When the young prodigy was just 14 years old, she obtained a bachelor's degree in early childhood development as well as 2 associate's degrees from Oklahoma City Community College and Langston University. She also completed 2 years of National Teachers Professional Development training through the Thurgood Marshall Foundation. Now, when discussing the fact that his daughter has become America's youngest paid teacher, Shania's father, Elijah Muhammad, said, quote, "I'm super proud of my daughter for being bold and brave and stepping out on her faith and into her purpose. She doesn't allow people's opinions of her to dictate the reality of her dreams and passions." End quote. I gotta tell you, when I first read this story, I'm like, yo, this young girl is out here doing her thing. But then I thought to myself, is 16 years old just too young to send somebody into the classroom as a professional teacher? Because there's so much more that goes into teaching than just like the coursework that you learn in college. I mean, you gotta bring some life experience to that classroom. And then I'm like, okay, she's a 3rd grade teacher. Maybe that can work. But is there any way that you can ever send like a 16-year-old into the classroom as a professional teacher on a high school level? That right there, I don't know if that works. And I'm thinking about it and I'm like, can you imagine parent-teacher conferences and you gotta walk into the classroom and talk to the kid about your kid, and then you gotta know that that kid has the ability to evaluate your kid and determine whether your kid is in advanced placement, gen ed, or special ed? Oh geez, I'm over here shaking my head. So, here's my question to parents. Would you ever want your child's teacher at school to be a 16-year-old? And also, to all the teachers out there, do you think that a 16-year-old can really do the job? Let me know what you think about that in the comments. And while you're down there leaving a comment, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Now, as you may or may not know, Charleston White and Suede agreed to an amateur boxing match, and during a weigh-in, Suede shoved Charleston White across the stage, and in response to being pushed, Charleston White turned around and proceeded to mace Suede in the face. Well, after the video of Charleston White pepper spraying his boxing opponent went viral, sources say that he also got into a second altercation with Suede at his hotel, and then he got into another incident with a group of men who checked him over something that he said about Nipsey Hussle. So essentially, Charleston White got into like 3 fights in one night. Well, now, Charleston White is speaking out about the incident and basically bragging about pepper spraying his opponent. Charleston said, quote, "Ninja, I don't do no effing bar fight. Ninja, I don't want no effing bar fight. I'm an amateur professional boxer. You don't put your MFing hands on me outside of no MFing boxing ring. I'm a sanctioned fighter, Ninja. I'm a sanctioned fighter and you trying to fight unsanctioned. Ninja, didn't you know I got them MFing mace boxing gloves? He's lucky I don't press charges. That's assault, Ninja. What do you want me to do? Press charges? Nah, Ninja. You just keep them hands off of me until we get into the ring. Now the fight's even. I'm coming in visually impaired. He coming in visually impaired. Put your money on me. The fight's even now. How they gonna put a 2-eyed ninja against a 1-eyed ninja? Yeah, it's even now. The playing field has been leveled. That ninja kinda strong too. You see how far back I went? B had me effed up. Showing up in my hotel with a bunch of ninjas trying to scare me. I ain't that type of old ninja you can just do that to. You can't do unk like that. You got me effed up. End quote. Yo, can somebody please tell Charleston White, aka Crackish Clay, aka Muhammad Ali, to like shut up? Cause I mean, the whole thing is a setup, because nobody's walking around with like pepper spray during like the weigh-in. I mean, that right there is just like corny, and I mean, it just shows that these dudes will do anything to try to make a buck. Because all Charleston White is doing right now is following the Jake Paul and Logan Paul template on how to sustain my 15 minutes of fame, which means now that my numbers on YouTube are down, let me pop up and become a boxer. Listen, let me know what you think about Charleston White hitting this dude with the okie doke and spraying him with the pepper spray. Do you think that it was real, or do you think That whole thing was a setup just to get people to watch his fight. Okay, enough about Charleston White. Let's talk about Wendy Williams. Yo, do you guys remember a while back when Wells Fargo froze Wendy Williams' bank accounts because a financial advisor told them that she was of unsound mind? So, according to sources, during that time, Wendy Williams turned around and she opened up a secret bank account. But the problem is that now Wendy Williams has forgotten the account number to the secret bank account. So Wendy Williams can't even access the secret stash of cash that she put on the side. Now, when discussing Wendy's banking conundrum, one source said, quote, Wendy has secretly opened up a new bank account to divert any money she makes moving forward away from Wells Fargo. End quote. The person continued on to say that Wendy is allegedly trying to sell off her personal stuff to friends, but, quote, she doesn't know her bank account number and refuses to accept checks. It's a mess. End quote. I mean, is it just me, or does this story not seem to make sense? Because let's say Wendy did forget her bank account number. She could easily go down to the new bank where she opened up the account and show them her ID, and they would give her all the info so that she could access the new money, right? 2, Wells Fargo is not the only bank around. It's not the only bank in town. She could easily go and open up a new account at Bank of America, and there's nothing that Wells Fargo can do about it. And 3, let's say she was selling off all her stuff and she wasn't accepting checks. There's a million ways that Wendy could get her money. I mean, this just doesn't make sense. I'm telling you, I've said it before and I'm gonna say it again. There's something wrong with everybody that Wendy Williams has in her inner circle. Listen, let me know what you think about this source saying Wendy Williams opened up a secret bank account that's so secret that she can't even access it. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. And hey, yo, thanks for tuning in to Celeb Source, your source for celebrity news. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Peace.